Happy Sunday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live, number 318. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. I have a beautiful card tonight featuring some retiring products, and I think that's it. Yeah. Not using any new products, but got some ideas as to what you can do with things that you already have, or you can get them on the retiring list. And some things are on sale from up to 60% off. I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second, and if you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away, and I will let you know when I am done messing around with the camera. All right, so hold on. Okay, so hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Wow, that was really quick. Moving into this apartment, I have to situate my desk a little differently, and so I think that'll work. No? Yeah. Like this. How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to go like this. And then I can squish in a little bit more. All right, so let's tighten it up a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's get everything squished. Ooh. There we go. Squishing in. Moving a little bit. There we go. I think we're pretty good right now. Pretty straight. Okay, so again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. My online store is stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. You can use my host code at E2C7X9VE. You can use that host code when you have an order that is under $150. When you have an order of over $150, I don't want you to use that host code because I want you to receive all the hostess benefits, which means free product to you. All right, penguinz33@outlook.com is my email address. So if you wish to get the new catalog, that is this. I went and got mine spiral bound. It has a protective cover on it, and it has a protective cover on the back side. So if you do not have a demonstrator and you haven't ordered with me in a while, request a catalog at penguinz33@outlook.com. I have sent this catalog out to anybody who placed an order from 2023, so last year in January, all the way up through March is when we get to select the people this year. So 1 year and 3 months. So if you've placed your order within that time, you will be receiving this catalog in the mail. So keep an eye out for it. It kind of looks like a gardening magazine. Do not throw it away because it says annual catalog on it. All right, now these two catalogs are retiring. So this is the annual catalog, and this is the spring mini catalog. And so, like I said, there's quite a wide variety of product in here that are retiring. And some of the things are on sale from up to 60% off. And some things have already been sold out. So if there's something that's on your wish list, get it now before it's gone. Because, like I said, it's while supplies last. All right, so let's show you the card that we are going to be working on today. And I'm actually going to show it to you in the annual catalog. And I'm going to explain something just to make sure you understand. Now, this is fresh as a daisy. And in my catalog, I kind of put the line through the product that I own. So that way I don't reorder, and I can kind of keep track of the product that I have already, just in case if I have a wish list and I didn't cross it off. I do not wish to order something more than once, unless it's consumable, like paper or embellishments. Now, with this page, you can see that the Sweet collection is being retired. Now, what that means is that's the number that you would enter if you wanted to purchase everything in this Sweet. So rather than purchasing, typing in a number for the stamp set or for the bundle, and then typing a number in for the paper, and then a number in for the embellishments, that's what the Sweet number is. You get one of everything that's offered in the Sweet. Now, generally what happens with the Sweet is once it's introduced into a catalog, it's sold as a bundle. So, stamp set and dies, 10%. And so here is the number. Well, as you can see, the bundle is retiring. So what that means is when it moves over into the new catalog, this one, you will still be able to purchase the daisies and the dies, but you will not be able to save that 10%. So that's what we're playing with today. Now we are going to use the retiring other products, and I will point them out. The Daisy Designer Series paper will be retiring as well. Okay, so let me show you the card that we're going to be making today. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so let me see if I can put the light on here so we could see it. We're doing a bunch of different things in this particular design. We're going to actually use the die cuts to decorate the designers, because we're not going to use the Designer Series paper right here. We're going to use the die cuts and use that as our background to give it some texture. Then the the glimmer paper. This is Pretty Peacock. That's part of the retiring paper. I'll show that to you in just a little bit. The dies are not retiring. The ribbon, this is actually Tahitian Tide, but for me it really goes well with some of that light blue that's on this Designer Series paper, so we're going to use that. That's retiring. The dots, those are retiring. The ribbon, both of these, actually all three of these ribbons, they're retiring. Now you may not recognize this ribbon, but I will show you what to do with it and how to get it. And let's see, everything else. I think everything else is good. Okay, so let's kind of go through everything. That was the front of the card. So we're going to be using adhesive strips, or adhesive sheets, I should say. They come in a 6x12 sheet. You could see this way. And these work on really tiny things, detailed things, so that they make them into cardstock, into stickers. So it's going to be a lot easier to adhere. And so we're going to be using that today. I forget I have them, so I got to use it. I got to remember to use it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so then we're also using that Designer Series paper called Fresh as a Daisy. It's retiring, and it looks like this. I do a little snippets because sometimes I like to take the color of the cardstock, and Stampin' Up! Has done a lot of work saying these colors go together, and these cardstocks go with the Designer Series paper. Now, like I said, this is retiring, but let me show you how I store mine. This is one of the ones that are 12x12, and it has a bunch of different designs on here. Now, I haven't used any of this yet, but so this is a full page. but every time I break into something, I put it on the back side here. Now, if I have quite a few small pieces, I put them in a plastic bag inside the plastic bag. That way, this stuff doesn't get damaged. And then I also use a Sharpie, and I write the in colors here, or the colors that are in the cardstock here. So as you can tell, right here, the names are listed of the coordinating cardstocks. Well, it's covered up, so that's the reason why I wrote it in a black Sharpie. And it's very, I store all my scraps that way, and then that way, first thing I do is I check this to make sure that I don't have to break into a big piece. Okay, so like I said, anything that's cut in two is on the back side of the, now this is actually 2 packs together. So we're using that today, and like I said, it is retiring. Again, here's a different show. We're using the Soft Shimmer 12 by 12. Now we're using the Pretty Peacock, and so in the colors are Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Lost Lagoon, Night of Navy, and Pretty Peacock. I have not yet used my Lost Lagoon. And I love this paper because it's thinner, and when you cut it, it doesn't leave a mess. When you rub your hands on it like this, it doesn't leave a mess. So you cannot tell that you were playing with glimmer paper. So I'm sad that this is retiring, but it's helping make new room for the new stuff in the warehouse at the Stampin' Up! Location. Okay, so then now let's show you what we're using. We are going to use the embossing kit. So we're going to be playing with that. Now we're going to be using the white. This does not come with the kit, but I'm going to be using it. So we'll set that off to the side. We have my Pearson mat, which we'll definitely be using. Now here are all the dies that we're going to be using today, and let's show you. So we have the tailor-made tag dies. These are retiring. I am really sad. Now these are on page 167 in the annual catalog. They are not related to a stamp set. So you could certainly get these before they're sold out and add them to your collection. So these 3 pieces here belong in this die set. That's in the annual catalog. We're going to be using the Charming Sentiments. These are in the annual catalog, and they are retiring. Now, this is the one that was introduced in another mini. And so when it moved to this catalog, it was not a bundle. But one of the things that I've done with this one and the other one that's in the annual catalog is I numbered the images on the cover. So then I went over to my dies, which is a 2-pager, and there's more than just the words. I did a really cute card that was my inspiration that was in the catalog of a box. Now, I actually bought this as a bundle in that publication because I saw that box and I knew I had to make a card out of it. So, as you can tell, I went and numbered all of these pieces and on the back side so that I know which one I'm using and I don't have to sit there and fuss with them trying to figure it out. Then we are using the Cheerful Daisies. Now, like I said, in this publication, it is a bundle. So it's going to move over to the next catalog and not be bundled pricing. So if this is on your wish list, buy it before it retires as a bundle. Okay, and so these items here, we're going to be using these 3 dies that will coordinate with this stamp set. Okay, so that's what we're using today. We're also going to be using the 23 to 25 in color dots. Now, I could certainly use another set. I think they're retiring, or did I think there's another set of embellishments that I could use in this card. I do not know where I put them. Oh well, we're just going to continue just using those. I thought maybe I would give everybody an option, but I pulled that. The ribbon that we're using, again, I'm just going to show everybody. The Simply Elegant trim, the gold and the silver, that's retiring. That's in the annual catalog. Then all the colors of the outgoing in colors. Now this is Tahitian Tide, so Pretty Peacock, Sweet Sorbet, Starry Sky, and Orchid Opulence. Those are all going away, and the ribbon looks just like this. So that's retiring, and then all the ribbons that I used, that's what I did. I frayed it, and I love doing that. Okay, so all that is being retired, and I think that is it for me introducing all the retired product. Now we're also going to be using the dies. Now this is a take your pick tool. This is the normal one. Okay, this is the one that's in the catalog, and when you buy it, you get the putty, a refill, then you get this head, and you get another head, and that has the ball of, what do you call it? A stylus. It has 2 styluses, so that's what you get. Now when you purchase the die brush that helps get all the little pesky parts out of an intricate die, this is what you get. And you get one of the foam mats. So I actually have 2 take your pick tools, and I keep them stashed together like this. And if I'm doing, say, something for swaps, or if I'm prepping for an event, then I can just get all the nits and bits and pieces out, go like this, and then get the next one in. Once I fill this up, then I recycle it and then get a new one. So that's what we're going to be also using today. Okay, so I think that is it. Oh, I forgot. This block number A, that's retiring. And this is block number G. Now this fits a lot of the sentiments. This one's retiring, but I'm not using it tonight. So I wanted to point that out. I placed an order and got a couple extra ones of those, just because I wanted to make sure that when I do a stamping event and I need, small sayings, that I'm able and I'm covered. Okay, let's get going with the sentiments, or the measurements. That's what I meant to say, measurements. Okay, so then, here we go. Oops, I have a tiny piece here. It's in that little bag of scrap that I showed you on how I store my scraps in my 12 by 12. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock, which is a piece of scrap. Same thing with this Designer Series paper. It's that Daisy. I want the copper clay. This Designer piece of paper, designer series, is 3.5 by 1 3/4, and that is that way. Then I have a piece of this glimmer paper, and it is 2 by 4. This piece is just a 1/2 inch scrap, and we're going to trim it down to where we need it. This is a piece of basic white, and it's going to be our card. It is 8 inches by 5.5, and I scored it at 4. And I let this sit out like this for you, just so that you can come back in or recreate at your time, and then have your product cut up and ready to go. This is an actual adhesive sheet. The lines are right there. And so this is almost 5 by 4. It's just a little bit short. Okay. And then I wrote the word dies on here because I have several pieces of basic white, and I want to make sure that I'm using the right thing. So this really is 5 by 4 inches, and like I said, I wrote the word dies on it. And so let's put that like this, because those are going together. I have another piece of basic white, which is 4 inches by 2 3/4. And this is going to be our card base, which is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. It's 5.5 by 4 1/4. Okay, I'm going to let this sit here for just a few seconds. That way you can say, hey, I really like that card Joy did on number 318. So I'm going to go back and look it up and then get everything cut up, and then we're going to create this card together. Not that I would know that, but, and if you ever do recreate a card, you can certainly take a picture of it and post it in the comments. Okay, I'm so sad. I mean, I wish this designer series paper would carry over just because of the in colors, but it did not. It's retiring. Now, several Facebook Lives ago, I took the glimmer paper and I used one of the brushes to actually color the pink, the bubble bath, and I made it more mustard using the more mustard. Oops, I didn't mean to almost throw that away. I took the blending brush and added ink to the bubble bath and changed it to a color that I wanted it to be. Okay, so let's go and clear out the space. So we're not going to do anything with that for a while. Same thing with this piece. Actually, I might as well put that on now because it is right there. So we're going to use the Stampin' Seal. And like I said, this is just a 1/2 inch scrap piece. And I just wanted to put this on the inside of the card. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of white. And then we're just going to snip that off. Rather than throwing that away, use it to decorate the inside of your card. And then that way, you're bringing the colors from the front of the card to the inside of the card. That piece I will not keep. I don't keep everything. And then we might as well. I made this card earlier today, so it's like, what order did I do things and what would be the best order to do things again? Okay, so I think we're going to stamp the inside of the card, which I did not show you because I got to keep something, you know, secret. All right, so like I said, we are using the retiring set of, I'm going to get all my inks, or all my flowers ready and my stuff. Okay, so we're also going to stamp Just For You. And we're going to try to get our stamping done, and then we're going to do the embossing, and then we're going to cut with the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Okay, so the reason why I put my paper on first was because, or the designer strip, was because now from here to here, I'm going to actually put my greeting on the inside, and I wanted to make it centered. Whereas if I would center it here and put this white piece here, or the piece here, then it would be not centered, and that would really, my OCD would go in chaos. So I'm going to actually take my Stampin' Pearson mat, because these are photopolymers. And so I like to, even though I have the glass mat, I like to make sure that I have full ink coverage. And so I'm going to open up my Parakeet Party, and I'm going to open up the copper clay. Okay, so the first thing I'm actually going to do is stamp the greeting from the, now this greeting comes from the Cheerful Daisy set, and that is going to be, I'm going to do that in copper clay. I'm going to have them open, but I'm going to bring the ink pads to my spot here, so then that way I'm not reaching over and then accidentally grabbing the wrong one. So it says, wishing you the brightest birthday. And then I'm going to put that off to the side because I'll clean it in just a little bit. Now I'm going to take this flower that is from the Daisy, the Cheerful Daisy set, right here. And I'm going to stamp this off once. That's the first generation. This is the second generation. And now we're going to stamp that right on top, and that is the third generation. We want to be able to see the words, but we just want to have something pretty on the back side. All right, so then now I stuck my finger in there. Doggone it. All right. Because a lot of the paper is white, I am going to get out a baby wipe and clean that off right away. Because somebody is going to win this card, and I would really, really like it if it didn't have fingerprints all over it. I actually had a cat who is no longer with us. His name was Oscar. He stepped in an ink pad and stepped on my card just after I got done with it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Oscar. Number one, we have to take you to the sink. Do you know how hard it is to wash a paw? Okay, well, at least I don't think it's going to affect anything now. That's why you wear dark pants. Oh, okay, so here we're going to stamp this piece. This is the outside, or the outlined. Now I'm going to let that ink sit for just a few seconds and allow that to transfer. Now this is the outline. I find that it's a lot easier to line up the center when you do the outline first. So couple taps in the, we're just going to do one generation. Now this is going to be our second generation, and I'm making sure, allow that ink to transfer, and there we go. Now you see those white bits right in there? That's actually Stampin' Up! Designed that in the actual stamp. So it's supposed to be there. So it's not like, how come that didn't work? It's supposed to be like that. Okay, so we're going to close this up. And we're going to close this up as well. Oh, wait, no. I meant to do... That just flung off. Okay, so pick that up. All right, so how do I want this to actually sit on my block? Okay, so there, I don't know if you could see that, but right down here is kind of less detail. So I'm going to place that down towards the flower and have the more detailed part kind of towards the upper part. Okay, so that is our cone flower. And just to let you know, cone flowers do not really come in Parakeet Party. Or, sorry, Pretty Peacock. I had a reddish orange one in my garden, but I no longer have the house, so I have to plant pots this year in the apartment. on our beautiful deck. All right, so this is Pretty Peacock, and we're going to actually emboss our greeting from the front, for the front, and this here comes as a kit, not with the embossing powder, but these 4 things. So the tray, the brush, the reverse tweezers, and the embossing buddy. Now, Sherry, hi, how you doing? Welcome. The embossing buddy is really good for taking that static electricity off. Now, I also do my tray because, number one, I live in Minnesota. Static electricity is always on. Then I make sure that my bristles, because I have cats, and I want to make sure my bristles are clean. Now, I use this to kind of take the embossing powder, open this up, and then put that back in. I'd rather not do that on camera just because it takes a lot of time. I don't do just easy stuff, so there we go. And I love these reverse tweezers. They really, really help holding and using the heat tool and not burning your fingers. So you can use scraps and, you know, perfect. Okay, so now that we have the embossing buddy, we are going to use the Versamark pad. Now the Versamark pad is a sticky ink. So it will hold the embossing powder perfectly until you are about to heat set it. I'm going to take a drink. All right, that was more than just a drink, but it was yummy. It's starting to get nice and warm out now. I had the window open all night last night when I went to bed, and that was just so nice to wake up this morning and the birds were chirping. Oh, I loved it. Okay, so one thing you want to do is when you have your Versamark, close that up and remove everything from your tray. And you're going to pour that in. Now, because it's so small, you don't need to dump the whole thing in. Kind of whack it, kind of clip it, and there's a little piece there that's kind of missing. So I am going to just put that on there again. And I think that looks good. I'm going to do one more time because some of the words... There we go. Now, I have a tiny paintbrush. This is not a Stampin' Up! One, but I use it for only embossing pieces. Now, I'm just brushing off the extra. And trying not to shake. Because this will heat and you will see it, all the little bits and pieces that the embossing buddy did not help to remove. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. There's just a couple pieces on here, and I think it might be just the powder. All right, so now if you wanted to heat emboss a lot of things, you can leave it like this. Except for if you have dogs that like to jump up on your lap or get on your table, and especially cats. I actually had a cat that I used to stamp in the living room to hang out with my husband and watch TV shows with him. And George, I'm going to just put my lid back on and we're going to take care of this later. But anyways, George jumped up right onto the ottoman. And it was light tan carpet and black embossing powder. Luckily, it fell up straight down like this, so I was able to take cardstock and just whoosh it like this and lift it up, and I only had a little bit, and it all came out. But from then on, yeah, I do not do anything like that around cats. Now, we will be washing this in just a moment. I don't like to leave Versamark on my polymer because it stays sticky pretty quickly. All right, so now, because this is going on camera, I'm going to actually turn this on, just let it warm up for a few seconds, and I'm going to heat this underneath. This way you can see the change. And one thing about going like this underneath and then going on top is that it helps the paper stay straight. Okay, I know that probably went really quick for you. You probably didn't see it change too much, but embossing is like so easy. Now we're going to die cut that, but it's going to be just a little bit because we're going to take a few seconds and we're going to clean off the ink. Now for me, when I use photopolymer, I generally leave it sit like this and then wash it in my rubber scrubber, but just because we're doing video, we're just going to do that right now. And we're going to clean pretty quickly. But my Simply Chamois is broken into 4 pieces just because I had a cat that, gosh darn it, I got it me again, loved anything foam. And so to this day, I still do the same thing. I cut all my 4 pieces, or everything into 4 pieces. Plus, if I'm doing any type of event, I'm ready to go, because generally I have 4 tables. Oh, speaking of event, the event that we are doing at the church this year, we have a date, so save the date. It is going to be June 29th. It's going to be a Saturday in Highland Park, St. Paul. If you've been there, you know that it's a fun time. You bring your stamps, you bring your adhesive, your scissors, and anything of your tools, like a take your pick tool. And then we hand you a baggie, and you go out and about and make 16 handmade cards. Lots of fun. Okay. All right, so let's get on with our card making. So save that date. Check out www.thestampinevent.com for more information. Okay, so I am going to put this on. Okay. How you doing, Sherry? You going to be able to come to the event this year in June? I hope. You know, when they do this... taking off the wrong part. Okay, so this is the adhesive. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make this into stickers. I was trying to take off the wrong side. Duh. Okay, so this is a line that is going to eventually help. It's going to peel off, okay? And so the sticky part, there's two sides of the stickiness on here. And so some of it's on my fingers. And it works really, really well. So we're going to make this cardstock, this basic weight cardstock, into a nice big sticker. Now, this is going to be the back side. So you want to flip it over, and we're going to die cut with this. So we're going to grab the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the plates over. I like to flip my plates every so often. This one's pretty warped. I didn't flip that one close enough. But I like to use them till I no longer can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put these 2 pieces at an angle. And we're going to grab the dies that coordinate with the piece that we're doing. So this is the tailor-made tag dies, the ones that are retiring. Makes me mad. Somebody's grumpy. That would be me, because I loved using these tags. Okay, so then also we're going to use, this is a tiny piece of scrap paper. We're going to make, with the tailor-made tag dies, you get 4, I don't know what they call them, little holes that make the hole pretty, where you put the, what do you call it? What's it called? The ribbon. Okay, so the Just For You, that is from the Charming Sentiments. That's also retiring, so I really love the fact that you can stamp your image and A, cut it out, or B, not cut it out. So it gives you that choice. And this was the first one that Stampin' Up! Did that with. There is still going to be one that we're able to do that, but that's okay. So this is a piece of the Daisy Designer Series paper, and we're going to put that right there. All right, so I think we got this well covered and well protected. And we're going to put that through. Now, because these have a straight edge, that's the reason why I put them at a diagonal, because you're not going to hear as much cracking, and it's going to put less stress on your wheels that are on the inside here. Okay, so now we're going to take everything off. We're going to have to do 3 rounds today, so sorry. Okay, so Just For You got cut out like perfect. Oh, good, Sherry. I'm glad you're going to be able to go. Okay, so then I am going to take the magnetic sheet. I like to keep it on the tray for the glass mat, because then it gives it stability. Okay, so I put everything back on my mat, because it depends on how long this thing goes. If I put away my stuff, 99% I do clean up after my live, but sometimes, depends on, like I said, how long it goes, I just might go to bed. Because I've been working anywhere from 10 to 13 hour days lately, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. All right, we're actually going to go and cut that. Again, we're going to make this a little smaller by lining up the die marks on the side here. Cool, cool, cool. Are they from around here, or are they gonna have to travel? All right, so we're gonna decide which of these little eyelet pieces, I don't know what they're called, that's gonna, I like the coloring on that one. We'll decide. I think that one's what we're gonna use. Okay, so this, what you do is you decide how big you want it to be, and you line up the little tiny indents so that it doesn't move, and then you know you have it in the right spot. And so actually I wanted a little bit bigger than that. There we go, perfect. Okay, so we're going to actually put that in again. Now we are going to put this and this on here. All right, so we're going to go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, oops. Now, you see that piece right there? You need to take that off, because it will leave an indent piece on the part. If it hit cardstock, it will leave kind of like an indent of it. Okay, so once, twice, 3 times. and it doesn't hurt it. But see, now that we made that a little bit smaller because our just for you is small, and that would have kind of, in my opinion, looked kind of funky and funny. So I wanted it to be a little bit smaller. But just because your die is this big doesn't mean you have to use it that way. That is what I'm all about, is showing you different ways to use your things that... Okay, so there is one right there. And so we're going to use the die brush in just a second. So we're going to just put that to the side there. And we'll push those out. And then, where did our die brush go? There we go. I try to keep things organized so I can find things and not sit there and say, well, where did I put that? It was just here. Okay, so I'm using the die brush. Might as well show you. Is this in camera? No, not really. Okay, fine. We'll move this for just a second. I like having this piece. It helps do the poking out and cleans it up. And then also, when you're using your people poker, it keeps the words are hard. The cover in a spot so you don't lose it, because that can happen. Now, why are those not wanting to leave? Static cling. That is it. There we go. Fling that one across the table. There. Poke it out. Okay. Now I think it's good to go again. So then, might as well just do this piece in as how we're here. You can use the brush to help poke out the other pieces. Or we can use the people poker. But first, just use this. There's a piece right there that my die doesn't like to come out when I die cut it. Alright, so just poke, poke, poke. That's why I call it the people poker, because I am the people it pokes. And I try, really try. I've not yet draw blood, which is a good thing, because crafting should not be a blood-driven sport. Alright. Okay, boy. These pieces do not want to come out. You can also use wax paper in here. I've done that when I have done, when I was getting ready for an event that we used this on, I believe last year. Okay. We're almost done getting those spots out. They're really stubborn. And like I said, somebody's going to win this card, so I want it to look good. Alright, come on. Okay, we're good enough. Okay, so you could take this, drop that. Whatever. Just leave that there. Do it again. Okay. So, we're going to put that off to the side, grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to put this on one more pass. And let's see if I can get... I think I can get almost every piece on here. No, not really. How about this way? Nope. We'll cut that off and we'll use it for something else later. And let's see. We have another piece right here, so we'll just leave that. Okay, so we'll put the lid on it, put that through, and we're just gonna go once, twice, 3 times a charm. Okay. Rochester, okay. Alright. So I think we are done cutting everything out. So we can put this away. Well, I'm glad you drive up here. Come hang out with us for a little while. Okay, come on. I can hear a cardinal outside. So like I said, I'll just take this off and snip that. Save that for something, because that's a nice piece. Get rid of that. Okay, so then we'll just use the die brush and kind of push everything out. And if it doesn't come out, then you just use the people poker. That's awesome. We appreciate you driving up, see us, hang out with us for the day. Okay. Yeah, there's some people from Iowa that likes to come. They make a girls' treat out of it for the weekend. They stay in a hotel and then go out to the Mall of America on one of the days. Okay, that got almost out of everything in the center. That's perfect. Okay, good. So now we can just clean this up later. You don't need to see me finish that up on the video. See, that's how we have enough stuff to do. Okay, now you know what? This one is on the adhesive sheet. This one is not. So you're going to see that's the reason why it was harder to get these things coming out, is because of the adhesive sheet on it, because they were staying. Like, why does it look like there's wax paper under there? And I totally forgot about that. See, I don't remember using it. So now we're going to have to use the glue on this one. So we're going to get out the people poker. And this is going to help. See those lines? Those lines are going to help remove that paper. Maybe. Let's try this way. There we go. See that lifted up? Okay, so I'm gonna just hold this down and then lift this up and see. I'm trying not to ruin any of the cardstock, but taking it up slowly. But this is gonna make it so worth it in a moment. Okay, so now that's all adhesive. This part right here is not very oh, look at that. It's just coming off so easily. Now, we are not going to have to use adhesive like glue. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to use my rubber scissors. I do not use my paper snips for this. I'm going to gently cut off that leaf. Okay, and we are going to lay this down. How did I do this? Let's see. think I did it like this. Similar to that. Oops. Okay. And then this, we're going to clip off those leaves. Okay. We're going to use those in just a moment. Come on. This one has the adhesive on the back side, so it landed on the wrong side. Okay, so then this one is going to go like this. So I wanted to kind of know where to put my glue, because I don't want to put it on too much of this one and all the way out to the petals on that. So I'm going to lay it like this on my table. And actually I'm going to get my silicone mat, because sometimes it's a lot easier to see when you have a darker image. There we go. So that's going to go, no. Yeah, so I'm going to put glue all the way on that one. Okay, so we're going to get our liquid Tombow glue. And so we're going to just put a little bit. I mean, you can use the snout of the glue to move the glue strategically throughout as you're gluing, because sometimes your glue might come out a little faster than you wanted it to, or it's not gluing enough in one spot. So then you can always, I call it the snout, the nose, the tip of the glue, to kind of steer it where you want it to go. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do it all the way on here. Just kind of guide it to the edge. And also the fine tip glue would be really perfect for something delicate. But as you can see, having that adhesive back, which is in the annual catalog in the adhesive area, that would be where you would find it. Kind of like where the dimensionals are in the glue and the fine tip glue pen, or fine tip glue. All right. And like I said, I have a pair of scissors that we used to sell, Stampin' Up! Did, when we would cut our red rubber out. And hey, Bert. Okay, so I'm actually going to flip this around and give that a nice burnish. And that way I'm not going to get glue all over my fingers. And I'm going to make sure the glue spreads to where it wasn't. Okay, so now, a little dusting. We're going to actually take the scissors, and where did I put them? There they are. And I don't use my paper snips when I'm cutting something that has adhesive on it. So we're just going to trim this off. And then that way I only have to clean one pair of scissors when they kind of get gummy. And I don't like gummy paper snips when I'm like fussy cutting or something. Okay, just twist that. This is kind of like designing your own paper, but this is giving it your texture. And I love the tone on tone. So, seeing as how the Daisy Sweet does not have an embossing folder, you can do something similar to this. Or with any solid die. It might not work out as well if it was a linear die, you know, a line die. Okay. I have adhesive pieces stuck to me. Okay, so now we're going to throw that all away. Sorry for my reach. Okay, I'll be finding these pieces when I clean. All right. Okay, so that was that. And now that's going to go on here. And first of all, we're going to attach these two. Now, because this is glimmer paper, what the heck? Did you hear that? So anyways, we're going to attach this together. Because this is glimmer paper, we're going to actually use the glue because then it can adhere better. There must be a kid that I hear. You know, living in an apartment, you get to hear everything. Not as bad as it could have been, I guess. We've had some really noisy neighbors in the past living in an apartment. Okay, so we're gluing that down. And then we're going to put a little bit of adhesive, the glue, the liquid glue, on here. Okay. And that's going to go where the hole is. Okay. All right. So then, oh no. Hope she wasn't sitting near you. My first airplane ride I rode by myself. Let's see. I joined in 1999 and August. And so in 2000, the convention that used to travel that Stampin' Up! Had was in Minneapolis. Yeah, I would too. And that was my first time ever on an airplane by myself. And yeah, my ears do not like airplanes at all. Okay, so gosh darn it, I should have kept that out. All right, so this is a smaller piece. This is the Just For You, and this is going to go on our label that we cut out of the Designer Series paper, and we're just going to lay that on like that, just right smack dab. Okay, this piece we are going to put on the front, and there's a little tiny bit, whoops, of that paper, that glimmer paper. I just want to snip that little corner off. There we go. Much better. So this is making sure it's going the right way. Have you ever done that? Putting the card on backwards or upside down? Okay, so that is going like that. And then this is going to go on directly onto here. Yep. All right. And that's going to go right on here. Now I am going to make it so that it's equidistant from the top and the bottom, but not exactly over. I just want a little bit of space. Okay. A little bit of tone on there. Okay. And then we are going to take some ribbon and we're going to snip about that much and this much. So both of these ribbons are retiring. Now for this ribbon it's very thin, so I take little notches and I put them in there so I can always find my end. This one, I don't do that too because I don't want to fray it, because sometimes I do not wish to fray. So if I was going to use this, I would just put a piece of tape over that so I always know where my end is. Also, I have cats, so with that said, I wish to keep my ribbon straight. Okay, so then now we're going to take this and we are going to use the People Poker. And let's see here. How do we want to do this? This way. Now, even though this is Tahitian Tide, the color of that blue right there is pretty with this particular color. Come on. Get in there. All right. So then now we're going to pull that up like this. I kind of want the blue Tahitian Tide over that, like that. Okay, so then also what we're going to do is we're going to take the gold and we're just going to, again, this is retiring, and I do the same thing, put a little notch at the top there and just snip that off. Put that notch in there so it doesn't unwind and I don't have that mess in the bag where part of it comes off and part of it stays on the spool. That drives me nuts when that happens. Okay, so then I'm going to take the gold and tie a knot. And I'm just going to put my finger there. And then we're going to pull tightly. Okay, now snip off a little bit. A little bit more off of this one. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone. Okay. Then, okay, so we're going to take the People Poker and we're just going to do this until we find that one specific thread that you can pull that phrase. This reminds me of Hey Chuck, the rooster set that is no longer available. That one chicken in there that has a really funky haircut. I love it. But this reminds me of that. So, like I said, it's no longer available. It's sold out. The dies are available, but the stamp set is not. Okay, so then we're going to just take that, put that in the trash. I need to put hand lotion on, so it's really sticking to me. driving me crazy. Guess I'll have to, I mean, you could see the desert on my hands right now. Okay, so that's one. And so we're going to get the other one. There it is, I believe. Yep. There we go. And you don't want to go below the knot, because you want to be able to have some type of place for it to stop. And then I clip it off. Okay, throw that away. And then spread that out a little bit. That piece will come off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you see that? Okay, so I'm actually going to take another piece. I'm not going to try to bring that down. I'm just going to take another piece and tie it and then just lift that one off. Whoa. So, okay. Apparently it wasn't on tight enough. Okay, so just tighten that as tight as I can get it with one finger. Oh, come on. Go through this way. There we go. Good knot. Okay. Now we can lift that one off. And then we'll snip this one, and then snip that one. Okay. Then we're going to go in and give the blue Tahitian Tide a little haircut. Nope. I don't want that frayed. I just want the Cajun Craze frayed. There we go. So I think that just looks kind of cool with the gold kind of hanging out the other way, the sideways. There we go. Okay. Static cling. That's what we get. Okay, so then now we're back to putting things right there. Okay, so now we can go back and put that back in the box. We're almost done, we're almost done. Okay, so then now we are going to take this piece here and we're going to put adhesive. Got adhesive right there. I'm going to get my chamois out already. Just use the baby wipe that I used to wipe off my hands. It's still wet. Okay, so we're going to grab the Tahitian Tide again, and we are going to layer that kind of just a couple loops to give it some fun definition, and then we're going to snip that off. And then put that back. Okay. There. Now it's stuck back in there. Okay. So then now we are going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I'll take my Take Your Pick tool and put 1, 2, 3. Well, that'll work. Took out. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get back over there. Okay, so this, just stab and grab your backings at a slight angle. You have all your dimensional tips in the trash can rather than lying everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to put this piece right here. We're going to leave about the same space from here to here. And then we are going to take one of these and this one's the adhesive one. So we're going to do one. And we're actually going to put this one. We're going to kind of put that right in front of the ribbon, okay? Because we're going to put this on dimensionals too, and when it goes to the post office, this one has adhesive on the back side, so it's not going to get stuck down because it has that ribbon. So now this one, we're actually going to put adhesive on the front of the leaf, unless there's still some right up in there, and I see that right there. There we go. So now we're going to put dimensionals. Okay. Take the people poker. One right here. And one right here. So again, at a slight angle, stab and grab those backings. And this is going to go right here. Okay. Then I'm going to put my people poker, I'm going to cover that up. And so now we're going to grab the copper clay. These are retiring, and I love these. I wish they would stay because the colors are still valid. Darn it. All right, so I'm going to put one right here in the corner. And then I'm going to put the medium one right there. And then I'm going to put the tiny one see, these are so slippery, but they stick down really well. So see if I can grab it with my putty part. There we go. And then I'm going to put that right next to the... No, you're not. All right, so then I'm going to put that one right there. So 1, 2, and 3. Then, boy, you hear a lot. When I used to live at the house, we would have Cedar and 35E. We kind of lived in between both. So we still heard the traffic, but it wasn't like it was next door. And McAndrews is a place where people like to drive up and down with their noisy vehicles and show off. That's all I have to say. Okay, so we're going to take Wink of Stella, and it is back. And whoa. Then we're going to take that at a slight angle and lay it down. We could have done this while we were, before we put this on here, but that's okay. And then, so we're going to take the Wink of Stella, we're going to color in the center, and then grab this and just swish it off, because now we're just going to do the veins and swish that off, and there you have it. What do you think? So, if you would like to win this card, you can get your name entered into the drawing just by doing... Yes, I agree with you, Sherry. So if you do a thumbs up or a heart, your name will get entered into the drawing. And then if you leave a comment, your name will get entered into the drawing. And if you share this on your timeline, your name will get actually entered twice. And that's to help get my name out there. I'm a little fish in a big, big pond of demonstrators. I see people with 300, 400 people watching them. I'd like maybe 5 or 10. I have, small hopes and dreams, at the same time, not 10 separately. I'm not asking for much, but sharing that helps me. So I want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. I hope you have a great week and happy stamping.